welcome back folks for a new episode of Leaked. Now today's video is going to be a little bit short because I know nothing, zilch, nada of this vehicle. It's going to be a premium tier 8 British medium tank. It is the Chieftain / T95. So imagine a Chieftain's chassis with a turret of a T95. Now stop imagining it because it hurts the brain. So it's like a Type 59 / Patton. So you know that monstrosity which happened like a month ago? It's like that tank but at tier 8. Well, yeah, with the Chieftain's hull and the Type 95's turret. Yeah. Yeah, disgusting. So I couldn't find any blueprint of this vehicle, but they say it exists. So I guess I take their word for it. But the main reason behind the development of this tank is that they wanted to share components between America and Britain. So they designed the tank to fit interchangeable parts like the guns or the engines and stuff like that. But it turns out that they need to learn different gunnery systems between these two nations. So the whole vehicle concept was pointless and redundant. And that's why this tank never actually exists. So it's a blueprint tank. Now the closest blueprint I could find of this vehicle is this T95 right here. So it has a rounded turret with a gigantic cupola. So yeah, signature feature of the T95s. Now it does have a Chieftain's chassis, so it's a little bit bigger in terms, but it's like this picture. Now if you have watched my previous leak videos about the M48 Patton hybrid, which has the T54 E2's turret and the T123 E3's gun or E6 gun, but that vehicle demonstrates that the T95 is not particularly one vehicle. So there are a lot of versions of the T95. Some have the T95's main original turret, some carries the Patton's turret, and other ones carry the T54 E1 or E2's turret. So it's a drawing board of a tank. Now this vehicle has one of those tanks turret, but I don't know which one, so it's very confusing. And the hull is from the Chieftain. So basically for the game, they reuse or copy the Mark 6 Chieftain's hull and give it to a tier 8 medium tank. And yeah, you already know how many people were pissed off at the 85mm. It's more suited to tier 8, as you can see, but as tier 10 heavy tank status, ugh. So today's vehicle about the Chieftain T95 hybrid, and it's a 59 Patton all over again. Ugh. And here are some in-game screenshots of the Chieftain / T95. So this vehicle is basically Chieftain with a T95's turret. Now this turret is not like any other American turrets other than the cupola because it's more rounded, hemispherical, like a Conqueror's turret, whereas other T95's turrets look like oblong, oval shape, like the M103 or the Pattons. So this turret is more hemispherical, like a Russian turret or the Conqueror in essence. But it does have the gigantic tumor, the cupola, which is on all American tanks, ubiquitous. So, it's alright. It kind of looks like the AMX 30A from the back because of this cage and the bulge of the turret, but it does have the Chieftain's hull, so is that a plus? Well, it is bouncy, but it's only 85mm at the front. So, eat your hearts out. But yeah, this is a very big weak spot. However, if you hit the rest of the turret, it's probably going to bounce. It's like the T95 E2, the recruitment tank, if you will, for getting friends to play with you. And they have to have a tier 10 or so, but ugh. Now, there are no early renders of this vehicle, so basically they took the HD model from the Chieftain and stick a turret onto it, so I couldn't find any early renders of this tank, and there were only one picture of the collision model, so that's a bummer. But yeah, today's video is going to be a little bit short, so yeah, this turret looks hemispherical, rather than the oblong oval shape on American tanks. And this cupola is huge, like an AMX 30A. Blah. Leaving bad taste in my mouth. Everything on the Chieftain's chassis is identically the same, like the track links, the box things, the gun holder. Everything looks exactly the same. So basically they reuse the hull and just stick a different turret onto it. So wah wah wah. You can see in this picture, everything is the same, including the track links, the toolbox, the whatever, other than the turret. So come on guys. We already talked about Clone Wars on the T44 video this week, but geez, this is ridiculous. So yeah, everything on the chassis is the same. Boo. Boo on you. And you already know the armor. 85mm for the upper plate. 76mm for the lower plate. The upper plate is well sloped, but as I mentioned in the Chieftain's video, there is no beak armor on this strip. So this is still 85mm. And if you get shot directly on this beak, chin, cheek, whatever you call it, you'll get penetrated. So that sucks. And artillery, 85mm. Artillery has averaging of 100mm for high caliber shells around tier 8. So we'll easily go through that from top to bottom and you get penetrated and you die. But this is a medium tank, so it should be a little bit faster than a heavy tank, quote unquote. Now also what's interesting about this collision model is there's no mantlet. There's a gigantic circle ring of greenness in the middle of the gun or around the gun. So you got this Green Lantern symbol around the gun, and there's only like one mantlet that's basically covering the sides of the gun, and that's pretty much it. But there's no mantlet, so it's a frontal shot, but there might be a side shot, so I cannot see, but apparently there's no mantlet. So you do have 356mm on the cheeks of the turret, but the rest is 165. You could bounce a few shots from these areas, but if you hit right here, it's probably going to penetrate, or right here, or right here, obviously. And the cupola is a gigantic weak spot. So this tank, oh boy. So it's going to be a tier 8 special British medium tank. It's not going to be a premium, I believe, so it's not going to be sold in gift shop. So mission base or event base, has 1,350 hit points. Quite good, decent enough. So it's like the T44-100 that we reviewed on earlier this week, so Tuesday. Engine power is 750, good. Weighs 50 tons, so the power to weight ratio is 15, which is not bad. It's not fast, but it's adequate enough. Top speed is only 42 kilometers per hour, reverse is 15, slightly slower than the average. Hull traverse is 36 degrees per second, turret traverse is 37.5 degrees per second, so it's slower to turn than the average medium tank, but it has very good terrain resistance, 0.76 for hard, 0.95 for medium, and 1.7 for soft, so that's very good. Fuel range is below average, 380, but the average is 385, so that's fair. Radial range is standard, so that's good. Hull armor is 85 at the front, 51 at the sides, and 25 at the rear. So it's decent for a medium tank, right? But yeah, it sucks for a tier 10. Turret armor is 254 at the front, 88.9 at the sides, and 51 at the rear. So the turret is bouncy from the front, but you do have a gigantic cupola staring at you. So this is the big weak spot. The gun is a 90mm gun, fires AP, APCR, and high explosive. Penetration is decent for a tier 8 medium, 202mm. APCR is slightly lacking, only 240-ish millimeters. The best APCR for gold shell at tier 8 is 250-ish, so a little bit below average. 240 alpha. Rate of fire is 7.5 rounds per minute. DPM is only 1,800. That's below average by 100 or so. So reloads every 7.95 seconds. With a gun rammer, you could go up to 7.2 seconds or so. And vents, but that's slow to fire, like really slow. The average rate of fire with a gun rammer and vents for a Tier 8 medium tank is 6.5 seconds or so. So that's slow. Accuracy, however, is very good, 0.312. Aim time is okay, 2.11 seconds. 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 degrees of elevation. Yeah, it's accurate. It's decent enough in penetration, but the DPM is not going to hold out. So killing stuff will take some time. And this tank could move, but it's not going anywhere fast. Only 42 kilometers per hour top speed. So it's like playing with a Centurion with 2 more kilometers per hour top speed. Power to weight ratio is okay, 15. So yeah, it's a little bit slower, but it's not sluggish going through stuff like terrains or swamps and stuff. And the DPM is a little bit lacking, but it's okay. A haul down, I guess. Meh. And let's compare the Chieftain / T95 with the other mutant at Tier 8. This thing. The 59 patent. So both of these two tanks have well armored frontal hull, very well sloped, even though it's not that thick. The turret is pretty bouncy, but it does have a gigantic cupola. So yeah, man, the air traffic control tower on the 59 patent is huge. It's like double layer bus. Oh, Jesus Christ. So you could bounce a few shots with the 59 patent on the turret cheeks. So yeah, that's very good, but you do have a gigantic weak spot. Same goes for the Chieftain hybrid. Okay, so armor wise, these two tanks are pretty much the same. So let's take a look at the other stats. Health is less than the 59 patent and less than the average, so it's okay. Power to weight ratio is slightly above the 59 patent, but below average by 0.62. So this tank is not as fast like a T44 or a Pershing, I believe. So hull traverse is below average by 5 degrees per second. So this tank doesn't shift like a normal Tier 8 medium. Turret traverse is below average as well, so it's harder to acquire targets. Okay, top speed is slower than the average, and it's about Centurion's level of mobility. So it's slow to shift, but the terrain resistance is above average, so it's below the threshold of crappy terrain resistance at 1, so it has 0.76 for hard. That means you could shift pretty well on streets, and 0.95 with 1.7 for medium and soft terrain resistance, so this thing doesn't get bogged down as much. So that's very good. View range is below average by 5 meters, which is okay, but average, fair. Armor is 59 patents levels of armor. Some bouncy spots, but giant tumor on the head. So mobility wise, it has 50 tons and it could shift, but it's not going anywhere fast. So it does shift pretty well in place, but it's not going anywhere in a short amount of time. So it's like a heavy tank or fast heavy medium, I guess. Ugh. So let's take a look at the gun. It's a 90mm gun, like the 59 patent, but it has better penetration. So yeah, 202mm in comparison to 173. Yeah, way better. So this 90mm gun is not as good on the 59 patent. The same alpha, less DPM though by 1 shot or so. So That sucks. Takes longer to reload. I don't know how much ammo it carries, but it should carry a lot, so you can spam more shots. However, you do have very good accuracy, 0.31 in comparison to 0.36 on the 59 patent. So, yeah, aim time is also better, with 10 degrees of gun depression and 24 elevation. So the gun characteristics are much better, other than the DPM. So it's like what they do with the Centurion 7.1 or the Centurion at Tier 8. So basically, they have very good accuracy, very good penetration, the decent amount of alpha, but the DPM is cut because to balance. So basically, this tank is pretty accurate, does hit the spot, and does penetrate, but the DPM means you're not killing stuff that fast. So, oh god, these monstrosity. But this is not a premium tank, whereas the 59 patent is a premium tank. So I guess more goes towards the 59 patent in terms of making credits, but the 59 patent cannot penetrate, so you cannot make any credits anyways. Blah. And the final opinion about the Chieftain / T95 hybrid is that this vehicle is basically a fancier 59 patent. Yeah, the armor will troll a few shots, but remember, it's only 85mm at the front, and the beak has no additional armor to protect it, so shooting directly at the beak means penetration. Getting hit with artillery gets penetrated. The turret will bounce a few shots, but you do have a gigantic cupola. Not as big as the air traffic control center on the 59 patent, but still, it's pretty huge. So this tank has better penetration, better accuracy, better aim time, better gun depression and elevation at the cost of DPM. So is it worth it? I mean, it's slightly better to terrain resistance and traverse around swampy grounds, but the top speed is slower than the average. The hull traverse and turret traverse is not as good. The view range is adequate, but not spectacular. The health is okay. It's okay. Everybody knows how good the 59 patent is. Har. So, yeah, this tank is okay. It's not exciting. It's bland. I mean, who would ever think of putting a Type 95's turret on a Chieftain is just beyond me, but okay, it's mediocre at best. So if this thing is going to be sold in a gift shop, I propose not to buy it. I propose you to spend the money on something awesome or exciting, like a Super Pershing, and go smash face. Or what else is an exciting Tier 8 medium tank? Premium wise. The SDA2 is boring because you get penetrated, so blah. The Panther 88 is basically a Panther 2 with less armor, so might as well play with the Panther 2. The T44-100, which I review on Tuesday this week, is basically a T44. Wonderful. T54 prototype is decent, but it only carries 34 rounds, so that sucks. What about a Sherman Revaloris if it's being sold in gift shop? The Revaloris has only 5 degrees of gun depression and no armor, but it has a punchy gun, so it's up to you. But above everything else, I would recommend, Sam personally recommends you buying a Super Pershing first, because Super Pershing is the outlier. It's not as the same crappy medium tanks with no armor. So you play it like a heavy tank, you could bounce like BL10 shots with your normal armor and troll like ISUs and Objects MO4s and just laugh at their face while you penetrate them. It's hilarious, but yeah, Super Pershing is buffed like beyond all dreams and hopes. So that's very good of the Super Pershing as a Tier 8 medium tank. It's special, whereas other medium tanks are pretty much the same thing. All have around 170mm to 200mm of penetration. All have crappy armor. The turret has big weak spots, so you could buy the CDC and just run around. That's pretty much fine, but I recommend the Super Pershing. So this tank is okay. It's nothing special. So what I want to see, based on the Chieftain's chassis, are these two tanks, or Chieftain's concept. The first one is the Yak Chieftain. It's a tank destroyer based on the Chieftain's chassis. Has a 107mm, 105mm L7, or the 120mm. So this is basically a Yak Chieftain, or like the Typhoon in essence, but yeah, looks like a Churchill gun carrier at Tier 8 or something. And the second one is the early prototype, or one of the early prototypes to the Chieftain. Has a pike-shaped nose, hull, so this tank looks like a mixture of AMX 50s with the Action X turret, or the Chieftain's turret. So it's a fun tank. But yeah, this vehicle with the T95's turret is mediocre. So I mean, if you could get rid of the giant cupola on top, it might be one of the best Tier 8 medium tanks, but it has the gigantic cupola, so ugh. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.